Hey guys, Baz here from Aussie Playground and welcome to another episode of RC Pit Stop. As you can see, I've got my laptop here on the bench and I've also got the Traxxas Telluride. This is to really set the scene for a little bit of a narration that I'm going to be doing for you. I'm basically going to talk you through some of the behind the scenes shots, some of the outtakes of the river trail that I recently posted up with the Telluride. I had somebody post up a comment saying that it was good to see the truck not getting stuck and not flipping over and everything like that. And I thought, you know, at the end of that video, I actually had the idea of putting up a couple of little bloopers, a couple of little things in the end, but I decided against it. I thought, no, I'll keep it nice and clean. And you know, that video really glamorizes the Telluride. So just to clarify, I decided to do this sort of narrative type of video, which is something that I've not done before. Well, not in its entirety anyway. And I thought I'll bring the laptop out here and just show you. You know, I've got the program that I run. Just in case you guys are wondering, I use Sony Vegas to edit my videos. And you know, I'm going to press play on this guy and just take you through some of the scenes that went on and just talk you through some of the things that happened on the day. So just press play on this guy. And away we go. Now here on this scene that you guys are seeing, this is the very first thing that didn't make it to the actual video. I feel like I'm actually talking like on a DVD special, you know, special features type of thing. It's really cool. But you know, that was the first scene. I decided to cut it and not actually include it in there. I didn't think it really set the tone for the video properly in that first scene. I preferred to use this shot here that you see, where you actually see the little waterfall kind of in the background, and you know, I take the twig off the truck there, and then eventually this is the very first shot when the truck runs in front of the camera. Basically, you know, during the shoot of this video, I did it very much in a continuous sense. So I started the truck up at one end of the area, and then slowly worked my way down. And you know, I suppose when you've got somebody to help you, this could actually be done a lot quicker. But for me, on the day, it actually took, I would think, probably somewhere between an hour to an hour and a half to shoot this. And then of course, well, probably even pushing 2 hours, to be honest with you. But you know, then of course, you know, you come back, you have to upload all your footage, and then you got to cut it and edit it all. Now these first few scenes that you're seeing here, this is all stuff that's pretty much that made the cut to the final video. But you'll see in upcoming scenes that I actually you know, cut some things out. There are things that you're going to see that didn't make it to that video. And you can see here, this is the first time I actually got the truck stuck. It didn't actually make it up that rock. In the original video, I do have a shot of the truck going up there, but here is a shot with the GoPro as well. So some of the shots that I took, I had the GoPro kind of taking the same shot out of sight from the HD camera. And you know, I was hoping to get you know, footage from either one or the other and use that in the video depending on how things went. This is a slow-mo shot, just, you know, just thought I'd add that in here to show you guys some slow-mo shots. Now this one here, this actually made it to the final version of the video, but what you're about to see is just how continuous I tried to make this. So you'll see the truck here go out of shot, and then I pick up the camera. You'll see I pick up the camera here and just rotate it about 90 degrees or so, just pointing in the other direction, and you'll see the next shot of the truck coming through. And a lot of the footage that you see in that river trail video was done like this, where, you know, I'll just cut that middle section out where I've sort of left the camera rolling and just repositioned it in a way that I could shoot the truck coming in to the next shot. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I think in some of these shots it was actually raining. It actually rained about 2 or 3 times that day. which paused video. You know, it paused me from filming for a few minutes at a time. It wasn't a complete downpour, but it rained enough for me to say, okay, I'll have to put my equipment under guard, because aside from the GoPro and the truck, you know, the radio is not waterproof, the HD camera is not waterproof, and you know, I'm not waterproof. I had clothes on, so I didn't want to get wet. So what you're seeing here is a shot that didn't quite make it. I was actually going to go around the rocks that you saw previously, and then I decided to bring the camera back and actually go through in between these two rocks that you see here. Purely because going around where I was going before just didn't seem to be very interesting, and I think coming through here presented the truck with a little bit more of a challenge, and you'll see exactly what I mean in this shot where it actually gets stuck. For the video purposes, you could say, oh, okay, well, it got stuck, I'll just pick it up and put it back. But there were times where I really wanted to see for myself whether or not the truck could actually make it up certain spots. This wasn't, you know, this isn't a typical running video where I just have the camera rolling strapped to my shoulder or something like that, and I use the truck or the car or buggy, whatever that might be that I'm testing out continuously. This was something that you know, I was constantly pressing stop on the camera, repositioning cameras, you know, taking different shots from different angles, and it was a little bit different to my normal running videos. Here you'll see the truck getting stuck a few times. I really wanted to get the truck to come down over that, I guess you call that's a root that's coming out of the ground, and you'll see here I'll come around and get the truck stuck again. The biggest difference between you know, just bashing around with a monster truck or a buggy or something like that, and doing a little bit of trailing like this, is that with trails, I find that you really need to not just learn how to drive the truck in a sense where, you know, you need to learn you know, how to control your throttle and your steering, but you also need to pick your lines, like your driving line. You need to pick where you got to go to make sure that the truck actually makes it up the or makes it through the terrain that you're driving it on. I think this was the shot that actually made it to the video. You see that I took a bit of a wider turn just before I dropped down, and I actually made it over that little section there. Here you'll see, I guess this is an extended shot. You would have seen this shot pretty much up to about here, and you can see the truck's kind of got stuck there on the water, and then it makes it up over those rocks fairly effortlessly. Here, this is a really nice shot. I managed to pick a really nice shot. So as the truck came over those rocks, you can see it coming over, you know, and just going through all the little bumpy terrain there with all the roots sticking out of the ground. A bit of a rock here, a bit of water. This didn't actually make it to the final video. You'll see that the next shot of the truck actually did make it to the video, to the final version. So what you're not seeing now is me driving around those rocks and then coming up through the top again. You'll see the truck peek out at the top. There it is there. And just get it over those rocks. There we go. And then you'll see it sort of coming down, bobbing along. And then I decided this time, rather than going around that rock, to just go straight over it. And that was the shot that made it to the final video. This here is the same footage, but shot with the GoPro. This is you know, pretty much live action that you're seeing. And now here you'll see a bit of a slow motion shot. It's basically the same shot. I just slowed the image down to, I think from 240 frames a second, you slow it down to about 25 frames a second, and you get beautiful slow motion like that. So it works really well. And this is the final little bit there that you'll see that the truck just coming down and bobbing along, and away it goes. So I've decided to include shots like this in here. I know that you've probably seen this like 2 or 3 times now, but I've decided to include that in purely because you know, it's also for your viewing pleasure to see, well, I mean, I guess that's a little corny, but to see just how the truck performs going over those bumps. You see a bit of a side view. You can see me here carrying a backpack on my back. There's also a gym bag that I was carrying around, some tripods and some other equipment. So a little bit of stuff to carry around as you go from area to area. So here, this is a shot that of course didn't make it to the final video, and you'll see me going over this rock and plonk, straight into a rock. And the truck gets stuck. I was kind of standing behind the camera. I didn't actually see that it dipped, like at the end of that rock, it just basically dropped straight down. So I'll go back and reposition the truck, and then I had another look at the shot, and I thought, nah, having a big tree trunk in the middle of the screen is probably not a great shot. So I think here you'll see me reposition the camera, and this is the angle that you saw, that you see in the final version of the video. Come on, up you go. One of the biggest challenges I faced with the truck on the day, I have to say, was just getting over all this bark and leaves and stuff that was on the ground. I mean, the tires really just aren't designed to go over that sort of terrain, and once they get wet, it does sort of slip and slide a little bit. They seem to grip pretty well over the rocky terrain, you know, or anywhere where there was something for the tires to actually grip onto. But yeah, just going over those leaves and all that, it just didn't seem to perform very well. Here you saw, you know, I kind of got stuck in between those two rocks, so I just decided to do a U-turn and go back and try again. So you'll see me coming down here again, and it's not too bad, looking good. But I think the truck actually seems to get a little bit stuck on this grass. And then I think I'll get to there and I just stop it and go back and do it again. And boop, the truck has disappeared. Come on, here we go. So this is you know, quite a challenging. This is quite a challenging video to shoot. Doing trail videos like this, as I was saying earlier, it's quite difficult to do it as a one-man show. When you've got a couple of people to help you carry equipment around, or that can do you know, nice shots as they're following the truck along, that can obviously you know, prolong the shot and make it a much more interesting viewing. But when you don't have anybody to help you like me, it makes it a little bit tougher, and you basically have to go from shot to shot, from angle to angle. And here I pick up a passenger. You can see there, that's not welcomed. Go away please, and reverse, and go back and do it again. So it does present its challenges, but I think at the end of the day, you know, if you're clever enough on how to do it, and I'm not saying that I am. I mean, I've seen a few trail videos out there that are really well done, and they're all done with pretty much either onboard footage on the vehicle that they're using, or they're using still shots like this, where or not still shots, but fixed angles like this with the camera. You know, they can be quite good. So here you'll see the previous shot that you just saw. You know, that was the first time I actually tried to climb those rocks from that angle, and it made it over straight away. But here I had the GoPro set up, and you know, I was trying to make it over these rocks, and the truck just did not want to cooperate at this time. It just seemed like no matter what I tried to do, I just couldn't get it over these rocks, and it was frustrating me a little bit. And again, this comes back to the angle of approach, your speed, you know, how you can see that the rocks that are on the creek bed were making the truck sort of bounce around to an angle that just wasn't helping me. Some of that was to do with those rocks. Some of it was to do with my lack of experience in approaching that challenge there, those rocks there. So in the end, I just got frustrated, picked it up and threw it up at the other end of the creek, and went to try it again. And you'll see me drop it here. Boink! There it is. So you'll see here that I'll give it a few good goes, but you know, that I think it's a combination of lack of experience from the driver, tires not being very good, also the fact that the tires are wet, and you know, it's just slipping and sliding all over the leaves on the ground, all over the rock. It's just not going to make it over at this stage. And it was frustrating me. It was right there. I mean, all that I needed to do was to get that that right front wheel to grip and to turn, and eventually I made it over, but it was really messy, so I didn't use that in the final version of the video. That was just a terrible approach. I just hit the rock straight on. So we'll go again, and can we make it? Can we make it? No, but we get lots of splashing water. Great thing about this truck, and I know that some people overlook this about the Telluride, is, you know, it comes out of the box fully waterproof. You can do this sort of thing without having to plaster dip everything, and that's the shot that actually made it to the final version. Here I've included a couple of slow-mo shots just to you know, please the senses for all those who wanted to see some slow-mo. But I think you know, that is pretty much, you know, coming up to the end of this video now. You'll see there's one final shot that didn't quite make it, which was this one here. I almost used it, but there was this big dead sort of weed in the middle of the shot, and I didn't really like that, so I decided not to use the this final shot for the video. So that's pretty much the last shot and the end of this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you know, you guys got to see exactly how the Telluride performs when it's not so much glamorized in a 4.5 minute video. You know, this hopefully was educational for you in some way, and maybe even entertaining, I hope. But you know, I don't know if this is something that you guys want to see me do more of, if you like me to narrate some of the videos out there. I know that Jang from Ultimate RC narrates a few of his videos now. I don't know if I want to head down that path. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm copying anybody else, but this is just something like, you know, like a bloopers, an outtake, a director's commentary type of thing that I thought would be interesting to show you some of the outtakes, some of the extended scenes, and you know, some of the behind the scenes that goes on with filming or shooting these types of videos. But without me blubbering on and making this video too long, because I know it's pretty long enough as it is, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you very much for watching. Please hit the like button before you go, and if you haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe, and you'll see more of the videos that I've got coming up, as well as a whole, you know, over 100 videos on my channel so far. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll speak to you again soon.